Good evening to you all. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. First, we'll have an invocation by one of the students of this very school, Shankara Vithyashramam. It's going to be by Manoj Kumar, a very, very talented youngster.
Chandrasekhar Yatindra Varadam Chandrasekhar Yatindra Varadam Santatam Mama Sadguru Chandrasekhar Yatindra Varadam Santatam Mama Sadguru Karunyamurtim Karunyamurtim Dina Rakshakum Karunyamurtim Dina Rakshakum Karunyamurtim Dina Rakshakum Karunyamurtim Dina Rakshakam Karuna Sagaram Tejomaya Rupam Karuna Sagaram Tejomaya Rupam Chandrasekhar Yatindra Varadam Santatam Mama Sadguru Kamakoti Pita Bhushanam Kamakoti Pita Bhushanam Kamakshi Vandana Priyam Kamakoti Pita Bhushanam Kamakshi Vandana Priyam Shankara Avataram Shankara Avataram Jnana Vibhushanam Shankara Avataram Jnana Vibhushanam Sankara Avataram Jnana Vibhushanam Sadguru Devam Namami Satatam Sadguru Devam Namami Satatam Sadguru Devam Namami Satatam Sadguru Devam Namami Satatam Chandrasekhar Yatindra Varadam Santatam Mama Sadguru Chandrasekhar Yatindra Varadam Santatam Mama Sadguru.
Thank you, Manoj Kumar. That was very, very beautifully rendered. He is also the brother of one of the very popular young artists, Bharat Sundar. I request all the dignitaries on the dais to join us for the lighting of the traditional lamp, Kuthuvilakku. I request the principal of Sri Shankara Vithyashramam, Srimati Kalpalata Madam, to light the Kuthuvilakku and all the dignitaries to join. I would request Sri M. Krishnamurthy, the Honorary Secretary of Sri Parthasarathi Swami SABHA, to do the welcome address.
Ellorukku namaskaram. Good evening. It is my privilege to welcome you all on behalf of Carnatica and Sri Parthasarathi Swami SABHA to this Global Heritage Music Fest 2017. This festival is unique in many ways in scheduling very interesting lineup of programs of music, drama and classical dance, and more so unique as it is celebrated outside Mylapore, Triplicane, T. Nagar, where the most number of organizations are doing their festivals. Sri Vidwan Shashikiran, marvelous efforts, is making this event a grand one, and I am seeing a real Lakshman to Sri Ravikiran sir. This kind of unique festival is added glory by the presence of Mr.Robert G. Burgess, U.S. Consulate General in Chennai. We are proud that he has accepted our invitation and presiding over this inaugural function of this Global Heritage Music Fest, celebrated from today to 28th of this month. Mr. Robert Burgess served as the Director of the Office of Regional Affairs in the Bureau of South and Central Asia. He was Deputy Chief Mission at US embassies and was in other diplomatic posts in many countries. In his pre-foreign service life, he worked as an attorney. It is happy that he is here with us today in spite of his busy work. We feel honored to say that previous US Consulate Generals, Mrs. Honorable Ariel H. Pollack, Mr. Andrew T. Simkin, and Mrs. Jennifer McIntyre had graced our inauguration functions in the recent years on different occasions. That shows the interest of US Consulate Generals show on our Indian cultural arts. In fact, our relationship with US Consulate General is nearly about 38 years old. To say this, Mr. Cochrane, US Consulate General at Chennai, presided over the dance program of Dr. Vaijayanti Mala Bali on 13/4/1980. We wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. Sri V.V.Sundaram sir is co-founder and secretary of the Tyagaraja Aradhana Committee, Cleveland, and he is in the executive committee of some of the sabhas in Chennai. He has been involved in promoting Carnatic music and dance in North America for nearly 50 years. He has also been instrumental in campaigning North American children and youth to learn and perform Indian classical music. In fact, he has so much of knowledge of music, and I can say the number of musicians he has encouraged, and every time a musician gets a Kalasarathi or a Kalanidhi award, I feel that he indirectly gets these awards. We welcome him on this occasion, and it is always a honor to have him on this stage. T.K.Ramachandran, Secretary to Government of Tamilnadu, could not be present due to delay in his travel schedule. He is always our well-wisher and accomplished Carnatic vocalist. We also welcome Sangeeta Kalasarathi, Sangeeta Samrat, and Sangeeta Kalanidhi designate, Chitravina Sri Ravikiran. This year, the special edition of music published by the Hindu on December 1st carried the achievements of Sri Ravikiran sir, which went to 2 full pages. I felt and was telling all others that his contribution from the age of 2 and now as an instrumentalist, composer, vocalist, guru, orator, author, musicologist, even the entire newspaper cannot fill his achievements. Carnatic music is unique form of aspect of music in the world spectrum of music, and Sri Ravikiran sir is an unique musician that Carnatic music world has today. We welcome him on behalf of Karnataka and Sri Presides Samsabha. He will be conferred the title Sangeeta Kavi Raja. We wanted to honor him before Sangeeta Kalanidhi award function. And yesterday, Sri Shashikiran and myself were discussing on the titles which will suit Sri Ravikiran. And any title we were thinking of was a small to him. So we decided Kavi Raja, which was given to our olden era of great musicians. So we thank Sri Ravikiran sir for wholeheartedly accepting our honor, and I welcome him once again. This is an appropriate fitting stage with the dignitaries to celebrate UNESCO declaring Chennai in the Creative Cities Network. Right from people, and this is the right people and the right place. The oldest SABHA and Karnataka, the first institution pioneering the development of arts and culture, exploring the technology effectively. It's significant that we had on the inauguration day the Carnatic choir by Dr. Sudha Raja Sargam choir and Dr. Radha Ramji's T.K.G. Gurukulam. In fact, all our inauguration functions, even the latest Bharat Sangeet Utsav, we involved a lot of young people, young musicians, young children to be part of our Carnatic music system. So we welcome Pallavi Chakravarti, Sri Chitravina Ravikiran sir, who is here, blessing us by his wishes always. We welcome Sri N. Kumar sir of Sri Shankara Vithyashramam and principal, vice principal and the entire staff of the school for providing the hall with their fullest cooperation. We welcome the relevant accompaniments of today, Vidushis and artists of today's concert. Lastly, very importantly, I welcome the individuals helping us and the executives of our sponsors, Slankar, Nalli, ACT Fibernet, TCS, Ananta Group of Spa and Kamadhenu. Most importantly, we welcome the Rasikas who attend our programs in large numbers and making the festival a wonderful year after year. Namaskaram. Thank you.
I request Sri Krishnamurthy sir to honor the dignitaries on the dais and also the invocation which was beautifully rendered by Chi Manoj Krishna. Please give a good round of applause to this young talent. I would like to honor all the other dignitaries on the dais. We'd like to honor Vidwan Chitravina Ravikiran on behalf of Carnatica Archival Centre and Sri Parthasarathi Swami Sabha. Would like to confer upon Chitravina Sri N.Ravikiran the title Sangeet Kaviraja for his global and outstanding contribution to the field of Indian classical music as a renowned composer, musician and guru. On this occasion, we would like to present rupees 1,01,000. This is on behalf of all the music lovers and students across the world to Chitravina Ravikiran for his achievements. I would now request Mr.Robert Burgess to give the presidential address and also the inaugural address.
Thank you very much for having me here today. Try it again. All right. No. There we go. Thank you very much for having me here today. To the dignitaries in the dais, it's an honor to sit here with you. To the dignitaries in the audience and to the many fans of Carnatic music and culture, it is for me a privilege to be here at the opening of the concert series. I'm especially proud to be carrying on a tradition of my predecessors as Consul General to be associated with these concerts. And I'm also especially proud of the connection between the United States and these concerts. From the pioneering work of Mr. Sundaram to expand knowledge and appreciation of this treasure of music to audiences in North America. Many of them, people of Indian origin wanting to experience and reconnect with the music of South India, but many of them new listeners in North America, in the United States, in the Cleveland area, coming from all over, to appreciate the joys of Carnatic music for the first time. There is something remarkable about music and the music culture and history that reaches people around the world and brings them together. In the weeks here during the Margazi season, you have visitors coming from around India, from across the seas, and I've met several of them already who come here from the United States, from Canada, from Europe, just for the month to appreciate what is so special about the music here. A unique tradition and a unique history. We are especially happy to support this by presence, by interest, by supporting the travel and connections, the study and the scholars who go back and forth between the United States and India to expand the knowledge, the understanding, and the scholarship of Carnatic music. I know I personally am not a musician. 6 years of piano lessons didn't take, but it opened up for me an appreciation of sitting in an audience and enjoying the music, to study it, to try to understand it, and to appreciate what it has to say and to communicate, both in the lyrics of the songs, but also in the structure and sounds of the music. And this language becomes universal. You don't have to understand the words always. You don't always have to understand all of the structures to appreciate the music and experience the sense of joy that it creates for you. But I also find with each bit of study, with each additional exposure, with each lecture or learning or studying of the music, and especially of the Carnatic music structures, that joy becomes so much more profound as you appreciate or begin to appreciate what these great musicians, these artists are doing for us. So I have to say I am so looking forward to this entire season of great music, and starting with the concert here tonight. Again, thank you so much for asking me to represent the consulate here tonight. Again, I'm very proud to carry on a tradition of my predecessors and to continue the association with the Carnatic concerts here. So, thank you.
Indeed, it's our pleasure and a privilege to have you with us, sir. And it's indeed even more delightful to know that you yourself have learned the piano for that many years. And it's very appropriate that you are representing the U.S. consulate here. This is a city for Indian culture, and it's wonderful to have you with us here today, this evening. I would now request Sri V.V.Sundaram, who is no stranger to any one of us. He's been very closely associated with all these sabhas, and has been patronizing Carnatic music and popularizing it around the world. And we request him to now address all of you.
Thank you very much, and good evening to all of you. This is personally a very special occasion for me for two reasons. One is the U.S. Consul, the Consul General, Mr. Robert Burgess, is here, and my and our association goes back to more than 50 years with the embassy over here. And then the second special occasion is that a good friend of mine, whom I enormously respect, is getting an award here, N.Ravikiran ji, and that makes it even more special. Sir, I want to take a few years back how it was in the United States to bring an artist. I want to reminisce a little bit with you. Back in 1970, the first time I was asked to bring a bunch of artists from India to United States, I had no idea even what kind of a visa I have to get, and no idea what was the process through which you get the visa. So I went to the federal building, as it is called, in Cleveland, Ohio, went to the chief of the immigration bureau over there, and I said that I want to bring these 3 artists from India for a concert tour. And he said that, well, you got to fill up this form, and there are certain requirements you have to meet. And he was looking at my face, and he knew exactly that I knew zilch about any of those things. So he said, okay, here is the form, fill it up and give it to me. So I filled it up and gave it to him. And he said, that's okay, but you need an expert to testify that these guys, these artists are really very eminent people for them to get the visa, because it's a very special visa for highly acclaimed artists. And I just looked at him blankly. I said, where am I going to get your testimony? And then he looks at me and he says that you seem to be a guy who is very knowledgeable about music and dance. Why don't you certify right now in front of me? I said, oh, okay. So he gave me a piece of paper. I wrote by hand, my pen, saying that these three artists are great, eminent artists, and the U.S. cultural scene is going to be tremendously enriched by these people coming and visiting and performing. And he looked at it and he said, yeah, I like it. He stamped it, and he said that visa is approved. I said, okay. And then he said that it has to go to Washington, D.C. From D.C., it'll go by the diplomatic pouch or whatever it is to Chennai at that time, Madras. And he said, how long it will take? Oh, it'll take about 3 to 4 weeks, he said. He said, but I want them to be here next week. And then he looks at me and he says that, young man, do you have $7.50 in your pocket? I said, yeah. He said, that's the cost of your cable. If you give me $7.50 right now, I'll send a cable to the Madras embassy and they will get the visa. That's how simple it was in 1970. Okay? I'm not saying it's more difficult now. Now, of course, a series of unfortunate incidents have happened, which made both sides very wary of the kind of people who are coming in and other things. And so there are checks and balances and all sorts of security concerns are there. So we think that we have got to go through a lot of hoops to get the visas. Sir, we have taken so far, our organization alone, close to about 2,000 artists to United States, both North Indian and South Indian. Personally, filed for the petitions for 2,000. In addition, as the head of a software company, another 1,500 IT professionals have gone through Chennai, got the visa. Yes, there are a lot of requirements and other things, but in the end, when you do your end of the paperwork correct, and when you do in good faith all the checks and balances that you are supposed to go through, it's a joy to deal with your office over here. It's absolutely a pleasure to deal with the embassy here in Chennai. And one very funny incident I want to tell you. So a good friend of mine was the head of the visa section. So his name was Mark Fry. And we had something like about 100 artists at that time were going to United States. So I phone up Mark Fry and say that these people are coming for the visa, and can you please kind of make sure that it's not too difficult for some of these people? He said, I'll take care. So all 100 of them asked them to come on a particular day. They all went there, seated them in a room, and he said that, listen, these are the questions we are going to ask you. These are the answers we expect. And he said one thing. One of the questions we are going to ask you is that, are you married if you are a young person? And if you say yes, then we will ask you for a proof of that, which may be a photograph, for example, your wedding. Please do not bring your wedding album. I am not interested in knowing that the third person who is sitting over there is your aunt twice removed, who has got a daughter who is eligible to get married next year. I am not interested in that. Just show me 1 or 2 pictures. That is good enough, he said. Okay? That's the kind of relationship I want to tell you. Okay? And needless to say, all 100 of them went through it and got the visas. Mark Fry was a good friend. I didn't know anybody last year. We took 200 artists from India. Not even there was a single rejection. Every one of them was approved by the Chennai embassy. Every one of them came and performed. And this relationship between the two countries, United States and India, which is based on the softer side of it, the art, is far more robust, far more enduring, and it has got created an environment in which we appreciate what the U.S. has to offer, and the U.S. in turn appreciates what these artists are bringing in. And that way, it's very special for me to stand here in front of all these people, and with you here on the stage as presiding over the function. It's something extremely special for me, and I want to thank you and your office for the excellent, excellent service you have been doing in the promotion of this art. Thank you very much. I'd like now to say a few words about Chitravina Ravikiran, a dear friend of mine, somebody whom I enormously respect, both as a person as well as a musician. My relationship with Ravikiran ji goes back at least about 20 years, I would say, 23 years, more than that. 23 years to be very precise. And at every time Ravikiran comes and performs, he takes your breath away. And you think that, how can anybody top this level of virtuosity in a performance? And then he will come next year and outdo himself what he did the previous year. That is it a God-given gift? Or is it something that he worked on it? Or is it a combination of your God-given gift and his own perseverance and hard work? In my personal opinion, yes, God has given him this gift of musicianship, but he did not rest on his laurels. The work he continues to do, both in terms of his own personal development as well as developing others, is something that is unbelievable. I always say that when God gives you a musical gift or an artistic gift, it's like an angel investor. An angel investor comes and gives you a certain amount of capital. You can either spend all of that, throw it away, or you can build a great corporation out of that. What Ravikiran ji has done is that God gave him, in my personal opinion, a minuscule of your angel investing. What he has produced, this prodigious amount of virtuosity, is his own making. He, as a genius, born genius, acclaimed genius, at the age of 2, acclaimed as a genius, had an enormous responsibility on his shoulder. Imagine a 3 or 4 or 5-year-old kid. His first performance was when he was 4 years old, with a violin and a mridangam and everything. And there's an expectation that here is a genius of the kid performing. How do you meet that expectation? How do you meet that unreasonable expectation the people had for you? And that too at a very tender age of 4. And then, if you do exceedingly well, the expectation level goes up. And then you, as a young man, had to continuously meet it. Did he meet it? Heck no, he exceeded that. At every step he exceeded that. Not only he is a musician of extreme high virtuosity. I knew him as a composer, knew him as a guru, I knew him as a musicologist, I knew him as a person who integrates different types of music and presents it in the most scintillating manner. And he is truly what I call a Renaissance man. 15th century, 16th century, Italy is supposed to have produced some of the greatest minds. 20th and 21st century has produced a Ravikiran. There's no question about that. Ravikiran getting this honor is something very richly deserved. Ravikiran, as everybody knows, is hailed as a prodigy, as a genius. But I also want to tell you, when the age of 3 or 4, Shashikiran also identified 50, 60 ragas. And the sister Kirnavali, the same age, 3 or 4, identified 50 or 60 ragas. So my son yesterday called me, and I told him that I have to speak about Ravikiran. And he said that he's such a genius. And my son Gopi told me, Appa, no. The real genius is Chitravina Narasimhan, because he produced 3 geniuses. He is the undeclared, understood genius of the family, because he took 3 boys, 2 boys and 1 girl, and made all of them world-class musicians. And in that respect, while I am not taking away what you achieved, Ravikiran ji, I do have to acknowledge the yeoman service, the prodigious effort that your father has put in essentially bringing up 3 of the greatest musicians of our time today. Yes, not to mention Ganesh. The whole family is like that, yes. And today, I stand before you extremely pleased that Ravikiran ji is getting this honor. He's getting an honor from a SABHA that is the oldest organization in all of Asia. But it's 115 years old now? 117 years old. 117 years old, continuously running organization, arts organization. I don't know about Europe, but because my friend from San Diego has come here, Shekhar Vishwanathan, I got to tell you this. Krishnamurti, you should feel proud about this one. San Diego Philharmonic Orchestra is also 100 years old. It never ran continuously for more than 5 years. It will run for 5 years. For lack of funds, it will shut down actually. Then some benefactor will come after 2-3 years, give about $2 million or $3 million, putter along for about 5-6 years, then close down when they run out of the money. Okay? That way it went on for about 100 years almost, until Irving Jacobs of Qualcomm came, the chairman, and gave $120 million to put it on a permanent, sustainable basis. What I am looking for, PARTHASARATHY SABHA, which has been running continuously for more than that, 117 years, is always continuously strapped for money, but never stopped running the programs. I am not asking for $110 million for him. I don't think he will know how to even use the money if you give it to him. So don't even bother about that. But I think that $5-6 million would go a long way, about 30 crores for him. I think this organization deserves your support from all of us over here. And what Krishnamurti and his people have done under the leadership of Nalli Chettiar is something remarkable. Taken one of the oldest sabhas in India and burnished it in such a way that today it's a crown jewel of Chennai. Thank you very much for inviting me for this one. It's my singular pleasure to be associated with these giants on the stage. Thank you for the opportunity.
A lot of artists, when we hear them on stage, we will like to listen to them for a few more compositions at least. That way, Sundaram sir, whenever he speaks, he ensures that there is always a lot of attention, and sincere thanks to him for being here. I would now request Chitravina Maestro Ravikiran, who was not even aware of the award that we were bestowing upon him, because I would have known that he would have refused it, but we ensured that we'll surprise him. I'm not sure about the surprise, but we feel honoring him. So I would request him to now address all of you. Thank you. Of course, we are waiting for his music, so we'll keep it really brief.
My warmest greetings to the dignitaries on the stage and the luminaries assembled here today. I really thank Carnatica and Parthasarathi Swami Sabha to have come up with this idea to surprise me. It was completely out of the blue. I had no idea when I just came into this. I just thought that I was going to play for an hour or so. But I really want to thank both of them for humbling me with this award. That's all I can say. Thank you all very much. From the wonderful addresses given by both of these excellent orators, we can all clearly see the power of music as a unifying force. Music really goes beyond all frontiers. It brings countries together, it brings people together, and that's what I want this Chennai Festival season, that should be the spirit of Chennai Festival. We have been recognized by UNESCO because of the power of Chennai, not only through classical arts, but also folk and other handicrafts and so many other kinds of art forms. Chennai has been one of the cultural centers of this part of the world. And all of us can take a lot of pride that in Carnatic music, we see one of the strongest forces that can develop peace, goodwill, harmony, and positivism throughout the world. And for this, I must thank and personally extend my appreciation to each and every performer who is singing music or who is playing music, because these are the people who are the real true cultural ambassadors. They are the true heroes, and the people who promote them, the promoters like PARTHASARATHY SWAMI SABHA, Cleveland Festival, or Carnatica and Music Academy, so many of these organizations, they are the ones who are really doing everything to bring people together. When we have a concert, that concert is open to anybody from any part of the world, any age group, any walk of life. They can come and enjoy the music. Any person wants to come and learn music, gurus are more than willing to teach them. So, for centuries, music has been one of the strongest forces that bring people together. And I want every listener to be proud of the fact that we are all part of this wonderful culture. And I've always said that culture is not just like salt and pepper. Culture is really more like oxygen. Without culture, we are not even human. So, the power of true culture also comes through not when times are good. When things are going well, everybody can afford to be cultured. Everybody can have the luxury of being cultured. But culture truly comes through only when we have crisis. How people react during crisis, that's what really defines culture. And in Carnatic music, we have one of the strongest elements of a positive system that can really bring in the best of culture, not only among the performers, but also among the listeners. So it's a great privilege to be a part of this wonderful Carnatic culture, wonderful Indian culture, wonderful global culture. As I'm sure some of you know, I've been working a lot with Western symphony orchestras, Western jazz musicians, rock musicians, and world artists from, say, Brazil, China, Persia, and so many other places. And it has been one common language when we all sit and meet, the language of the melody and rhythm. And that's the kind of part of the wonderful system that we are all in. We are all global citizens who are bonded together by that. And the endearing and enduring values of a great system like Carnatic music, it's a privilege for the musicians as well as the listeners and the promoters and the media to be a part of. And I want all of us to keep that as the spirit of this season 2017. Victory to all of us, victory to the great culture, and thank you all very much.
We are going to have the Thanksgiving on the concluding day of this festival. Now it's going to be a very brief Thanksgiving. We thank all the dignitaries on the stage who is honoring us by their presence. And we thank all of you, the Rasikas, for making us proud by your presence. And we request you to be here every day evening and add more glory to this festival. We thank the organizers of this school, including the management committee and all the staff of the school, providing us the hall with fullest cooperation. We thank each and everyone who's making this festival a great one. A special thanks to Sri Shashikiran, really, and the Karnataka team who's working very hard for the last 1 month for this festival, scheduling and arranging things. So we thank everyone, and please do come every day and make us proud. Thank you.
Concert will commence in a short while from now. Thank you.